Okay, we're gonna look at communication number 17-023 with a grant request from Kohanaiki, Ohana to steward the lands at O'oma Beach, Kailua Kona, TMK 37-3-009-004, and Karen Eoff will be doing a presentation.
Okay, well, it is intimidating on this side of the dais. Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I'm Karen Eoff, and I wear several hats in this community, but today I'm representing a long-term effort by our Kona community to protect the lands at O'oma and to continue the stewardship now that we have this opportunity. So here with me today is my husband, Gary. He has been there all along, and he's actually the second chairman of the board of the Kohanaiki Ohana. Our president couldn't be here with us today. She had a prior engagement. And this is Mason Murmo, and he has been doing work with our organization for a couple of years. He's not a board member. Just so that we're clear about that, because we want to have him be our project manager. And our grant is very small. This is the first, we've had the lands at O'oma, I think, since 2013, and we've been doing community projects there, but we've never applied for a stewardship grant till now. And so this first effort, we thought we would just start small. So the grant, the total is asking $25,000, and we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about it. So just for reference, so OMA is located on the west coast between the Natural Energy Lab, or the airport, and Kohanaiki. And there's a little bit better reference point. You can see the neighboring Kohanaiki, where you see the green, that's the golf course. I believe this aerial picture was taken before the development was at the stage it is now, but just for reference. And this is out of the Flora and Fauna study. It designates the parcel that was acquired with the Open Space Fund. And the part that we're most concerned and looking at stewarding is the coastal area. This is just a closer up of the beach. And so is this. So I just wanted everybody to know that the Kohanaiki Ohana was instrumental in saving this parcel from becoming a pretty densely developed resort project at one time. Since 1987, it came before the Land Use Commission 3 times, 87, 93, and 2011. And the Kohanaiki Ohana participated in 3 contested case hearings to prevent the rezoning, because it was in conservation, and the proposal was to change it to another urban resort node. So we were successful in that effort. After the third time they were turned down by the Land Use Commission, and after the appeal, the parcel had been listed as a priority on the Open Space Commission's list, and former Mayor Kinoy agreed to go negotiate for the lands, and we were able to purchase it. We purchased it in 2013, and in 2014, the neighboring Kohanaiki Shores developer provided $2 million towards the purchase, which was a match. Well, not quite a match, but the $2 million helped replenish the fund after we purchased the property. So the opportunity we have before us now is to continue the stewardship of the land and to continue our efforts to care for the natural and cultural resources there. This is a place where families have historically come to swim and fish and play and hike and jog and walk. The reef is still abundant. Over the last maybe 15 years, we've done an annual Mamalahoa Trail cleanup, which goes through O'oma and Kohanaiki, but the students at Kealakea, the 8th grade students, had come each year and done a section of trail. Of course, it grows back, but it's still a great project, and we want to continue that as we move forward. There's alkaline ponds at O'oma. They exist more prevalent at Kohanaiki, but the ones at O'oma are currently a little bit overgrown, so we want to continue to remove pickleweed and other efforts to keep the alkaline ponds healthy. This is WEA students. There's a neighboring charter school near Kohanaiki and O'oma, and the WEA students have done a lot of different projects there, so we're going to continue to engage them. The wetlands is an important thing for not only the reef ecosystem, but also the bird habitat. So I'm going to turn it over to Mason. He's going to talk a little bit more about the upcoming plans.
Hey everybody, I'm Mason. This last slide is Io, which is the Hawaiian stilt. There's less than 2,000 birds of these left throughout the Hawaiian Islands. It's an endemic bird to Hawaii. And we had 2 successful juveniles raised this year that flew off, which is a huge success. And Kohanaiki Ohana has been a big part in restoring those ankyline ponds. This picture was taken adjacent to O'oma at Kohanaiki Beach Park, Pine Trees Beach Park. I've been working there the last 2 years with Kohanaiki Ohana in the county as a educator. We built a canoe and cordage garden, a native plant education garden, and we can go to the next few slides. These are some different migratory birds here. Go to the next slide here. So at O'oma, we have several native plants left. One of our main focuses is on Myapilo, which is the plant shown here. They're a special status species and relatively abundant in this area. The dry lava strand has quite a few trees, and this area has actually been known for a special place to gather these plants. This just shows a Myapilo bud unopened, a spent purple flower, and the peel of one of the fruits. This is an endemic sedge that's also found on the land there, and this is a very small sedge. Maybe would go unnoticed. I included this in here because it's actually a special status plant, and I wanted to include it because we're really paying attention to the very smallest details in the ecosystem and how they're all connected. And this plant is, as we've been removing invasive species, we've been caring to look for this plant and keep it. The area is very overrun with fountain grass, which smothers and makes this plant disappear. So it's all been done by hand, very well done to notice all the plants existing. And this is just Elima. Another really special part of O'oma. So I take care of the land also along the coastline at Kohanaiki Beach, and the flowers here is on the beach heliotrope, which is an invasive species, but a really nice shade tree along the coastline. And the 2 bees you see here are Hyleus bees. We have 59 species of Hyleus bees in Hawaii that have developed here. They're all endemic, and several of them have become a special status, and some of these species were the first bees to actually go on the endangered species list. So we have 6 bees identified in our flora and fauna survey of this Hyleus bee. And next door, the development, it's very rare to see these bees. Whereas the adjacent property here at O'oma, where there's still a lot of natural land and no development, they're everywhere in incredible abundance. So this is a really rare opportunity to observe and preserve this bee's habitat. So they're also, the Hyleus bee is known as the yellow-faced bee. So you notice there's a small yellow spot on the males, where the females are all black. So here's a male, and these bees are tiny. So this is about, you could compare it to the size of a fly. So it's hard to notice. The beach heliotrope, I don't know if anybody's seen the flowers on those. They're very tiny, so this is a good comparison of the size. Thanks, I can't really see. So this is some of our goals throughout the 2018 year. We want to begin monitoring the Mayapilo. It's a host plant for these native and endemic bees. And we also want to start trimming the understory of some of the invasive trees back to open up space for the native plants. We do want to install some signage. There's currently some signs there that were painted by students during the Kohanaiki Keiki Surf for the Earth. And the educational signage we want to make is specifically for the Mayapilo and the Hylias bees. This was suggested as a management practice in our flora and fauna survey. And we want that educational signage because there are a lot of beachgoers. And as I've been talking to them, a lot of people that go there daily, nobody ever knew this bee existed there or noticed it. And now everybody's seeing it in abundance and respecting its environment. Same as the Mayapilo. It's kind of a free-for-all as far as driving goes, access when the gates are open, and a lot of the Mayapilo has been run over or damaged by cars or killed by cars. So we've already been working with the community on education about these plants, but a lot of people do come through who haven't been there, and so what we want to do is make these plants be known by making passive barriers around them. And also begin making up our nursery for for growing some of these native plants and propagating them, perpetuating them. We're really lucky that the development next door has offered us 2,000 square feet of nursery space and water, which is a huge help. That's kind of part of their partnership in supporting this conservation effort. And they've also offered us assistance with their employees to help keep an eye on our nursery, as I won't be there 7 days a week and their employees are. So it's been a huge help from them. Our second quarter goals are to really start propagating the existing native plants with students. So we want to be getting cuttings, collecting seeds, and we want to expand on pruning away the invasive trees. So a lot of the existing native plants have kiave or Christmasberry or harlecoa or heliotrope growing over them. So we want to just prune these invasive trees away from the existing native plants. And we're going to do another sign painting with one of our school groups to have some educational signs made by students in the community to assist in people understanding the rare ecosystem there. So we have here on our Malama Oma Day beach cleanup and invasive species removal. That is a day where the entire community comes down, learns about this together. We work together, clean the beach together, remove fountain grass together, understand the plants together. And then we want to expand on removing this fountain grass because it's a huge hazard. It's a huge fire hazard also, and a lot of people are barbecuing and smoking cigarettes on the beach, which the fountain grass, if it lights up, can create a huge brush fire problem. So we're just working on removing that to kind of eliminate that threat also, besides of it encroaching on native plants. And then in our fourth quarter, we plan on planting out different native and endemic plants with school groups. And our nursery is focusing on not just the plants found at Oma, but the plants that lineal descendants and elders told us used to grow there, are plants that are said to have used to grow there in our archaeological surveys, and are plants that are said to used to grow there in our fauna and flora surveys. So we're not just preserving the existing plants there. We want to restore it to the kind of native plants it had a few hundred years ago before invasive species and goats and cattle ate all the trees.
Aloha. I'm Karen's husband, Gary. And I want to talk about what's been done since Ohana was purchased for open space. And so about 3 months after it was purchased, we had our first Malama Ohana Day. And we had over 130 community people come out. And they went up and down. I mean, they were raking cigarette butts and bottle caps out of the sand, and we went through and trimmed all the trees to make it safe for everybody that drives there. You can come around a corner and you wouldn't see the traffic coming, plus to open up the coastline so there's more shade and a better place for the public to hang out. And luckily I've been working with the Lanakila group from Hilo High School, and they come over and camp and help in our garden, and they did a cleanup day of trash and trimmed down all the trees. You can does that show up? No, that's not showing up there though. But so this is kind of empowering children. I mean, this is what Kohanaiki Ohana has always been about, it's the children's beach, to empower them so as they grow older, they take control of stewardship. So here's community members. They're planting a coconut tree. We're planting the dwarf coconuts so they won't grow tall and fall on people's heads. But that's some of the plants. We also we're doing a model at Kohanaiki and Ohana for shoreline preservation. And tides, the ocean's going to rise. I don't think there's any question about that anymore. Hawaii is going to be hard hit. The ocean's going to rise more towards the equator. And so to start thinking ahead, some of the plants that Mason said that we're going to use are they're used in like Samoa plants, hala trees along their coast. So we're going to promote plants that have a really good root system to grow along the coast at Kohanaiki and Ohana, and as kind of as a model of this thought that's going to have to start coming about here for our future of the rising seas and more storms. So we're saying.
We just wanted to reiterate that the partners in this project, including Kohanaiki Ohana, the County of Hawaii, local schools, our community, lineal descendants, and Kohanaiki Shores. So we have a pretty solid partnership that we've been, actually the Kohanaiki, there's a three-way partnership that's recorded in the Bureau of Conveyance for the management of the beach park, and that involves the county, the community, and the homeowners. So that partnership has sort of spread into Ohana, and the Kohanaiki Shore Security, they patrol the beach. I think they come through about 10 times in any 24-hour period, and they continue on through Ohana. So they go all along the Kohanaiki shore through Ohana, which is really helpful. Just keeps the peace and everything in order there. So this partnership is working out really well.
Yeah, we've had a lot of community support in this project. A lot of people use the beach park daily and have taken it upon themselves to rake the beach and keep it clean. And upon us taking more of a stewardship role, those community members that are there daily have really spent an extra effort to monitor the native plants, make sure people aren't driving over them. So it's already been a great work in progress, and there's already a very strong community tie between all the people that regularly use the beach park.
Yeah, we wanted to show this. This is what we have at the Kohanaiki Beach Park. And this is a 17-foot across navigational compass, star compass, we have the biggest halau in the state. It's 25 feet by 40 feet. And all around this, we're planting a cultural garden, canoe plants, cordage plants, and we're planting beds to outplant to restore the habitat. So to bring back these plants that have gone, not totally extinct, but have definitely disappeared along the coastline. And we have lots of schools that come and visit this. And Mason here, I just want to give a shout out for Mason, that he follows through. He's really good with kids and as an educator. And so I've worked with him for 2 years, pretty close. And when we go to Oma, we're going to be working together. I've facilitated over 30 years, lots of projects, and we're going to continue on.
Yeah, the projects over the last 2 years have been community-based and education-based. So our educational garden has been built by several different school groups that come regularly. These students are really empowered to have a sense of understanding of the ecology along our coastline, and they actually leave really empowered to start, growing canoe plants and weaving again and making cordage and preserving our reef environment. And it's been a really beautiful 2 years so far.
Thank you. Yep. You have any questions?
I'm really encouraged reading this. I really like what you've proposed. I've spent a lot of time over the years surveying coastal vegetation throughout the islands, and some of the conclusions I've come up with are the biggest problems are invasive species. I'm glad you're addressing them. And another super big one is vehicles and human traffic. And I'm quite curious what you're proposing to do to limit their impact on the vegetation, because I know it'll be crucial to the success.
Our recommendation in the flora and fauna survey is to make passive barriers. We've had a lot of success already so far. A lot of the people who use the beach park actually are part of a big rock wall building company, and I have extensive experience building rock walls also. So we've been really fortunate in that aspect, and our main plan now is to build small dry stack rock walls around the existing native plants that are in areas that they could be damaged by vehicle use.
What's really been working also is educating the community, and we do have a lot of repeated people that come there a lot, and so once they understand what we're protecting, then they become protectors. And that's what the Ohana has always done, like with our beach, because we had 30 years down there, and how to empower the community that's using the place to take care of the place. And that's, I think we're pretty successful with that, so.
Jin, are you an employee of Kohanaiki Ohana, or? Okay.
I was actually hired independently. I originally started on the project to do the canoe and cordage garden, to install it with the school groups. The funding for that came from Kohanaiki Shores, LLC, the developer, through the Reggie Lee, who's the lineal descendant and the cultural advisor. So he actually paid for my salary to do that out of his budget.
And within your guys' budget, the coordinator position might be problematic, or I don't know how that would be paid.
Well, our understanding was it's okay to contract a project coordinator as long as he's not a board member.
Employee, yeah.
And he's not a board member of the Kohanaiki Ohana.
All right.
Oh, interesting. So what we're looking at is when you go down, and then it's to the right.
Right, when you come
Oma.
down the access road to Kohanaiki, then
Right.
you go right along the.
Yeah.
and then it's that
Is there a
cheap trail.
gate?
Yes.
So the gate is open. Who controls that gate?
Kohanaiki Shores does with their security team.
They control Ooma's gate?
On that side, and then on the other side, it's controlled by OTEC.
Oh, on the far Kohala side.
Yes.
Yeah, so who can go at what time to that gate, the one that they lock?
The lock closes at 7:30, and so the beach park is locked up at 7:30 p.m. and I believe it opens at 5 a.m.
To Ooma.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, I didn't have a picture of this.
I wanted to say that that like how we really do thank the shores there, because their security sweeps the place in the night several times, and so there's no camping, and they keep it to where nothing really too much happens. Shoreline fishing is allowed, but they make sure they're just really shoreline fishermen and not people wanting to come party. So it's well taken care of.
Oh, so Ooma side, no camping?
There's no
only
camping
on
at Ooma.
Kohanaiki.
Only at Kohanaiki, yep. And camping there is 5 nights a week, so the security is always
Always there.
there, yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Are there any more questions or anything? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
go ahead, Tim. You want to say something?
I move that we recommend approval of this grant request to Parks and Rec, again, with the same condition as the last one, subject to verification of compliance with paragraph G of the county charter. I agree with what was said a moment ago. The 12,000 for coordinator position salary may be problematic, but we'll leave that up to Parks and Rec.
Second.
Okay, can I get a second? Oh,
I'll second.
oh, I thought you were six.
We're all second.
They're all second. Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, motion has been accepted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just said that. Oh, good. Okay, so, want to eat? You guys
I
wanna
move
eat?
we adjourn for lunch.
Okay. For how long? Half an hour? 45, okay, we're gonna recess for lunch for 45 minutes.